In August, they had traveled to Montreal, their first real vacation together, and possibly the best vacation of Elliot's life, not counting the trip to Disneyland for his 8th birthday. Few things could compare to meeting Prince Charming in person, but Tucker gave the prince a run for his money. He wanted to reassure Tucker that there would be other vacations, that summer would be back before they knew it, but that was nothing Tucker didn't already know. The porch light of the 2-story cabin shone in cheery welcome as the Nissan topped the hill. They parked in the garage and went through the kitchen. This was one of the only rooms untouched by Tucker's presence. Tucker's only interest in kitchens was where the forks and knives were kept, and the room looked as it had a year ago. Warm wood, granite counters, latticed wine rack, and a few expensive and well-used gadgets. Elliot liked to cook, and his FECA disability benefits had been generous. The FBI took care of its own. Tucker poured himself a glass of water from the sink taps. He drank the water, gazing out the window at the moonlit cove below. Elliot considered unloading the dishwasher and decided he was too tired to bother with it. He would be on his own that weekend, and any house chores that needed catching up on could be dealt with then.
"Your knee okay?" Tucker asked suddenly. "You've been rubbing it all evening."
"Have I? I think I wrenched it when I was at Corian's." Elliot studied Tucker's face. "You all right?"
"Yeah. Just thinking of the reports I should be typing up."
And to think at one time, Elliot had been fed up with all the paperwork that went with the job of FBI agent. "Are you planning to—"
"Hell no."
Tucker set his empty glass in the sink. "Let's go to bed." Elliot groaned his relief as he dropped into the nest of pillows piled against the headboard of their new and very comfortable king-size bed. His knee was hurting like hell by now, and he'd popped a couple of pain pills in the bathroom. He glanced at the clock, mentally counting down the minutes until the pills would take effect. He sighed. Christ, it felt good to finally lay flat. The pale gray sheets were soft Egyptian cotton and felt cool and comforting against his bare back. From outside the open window came the night sounds of crickets and frogs and an owl looking for a midnight snack. From the bathroom came the sounds of Tucker brushing his teeth. Elliot smiled faintly. Tucker was a guy who took his grooming very seriously. He didn't talk a lot about his childhood, but he told Elliot once that he'd been a big, ungainly kid who had been teased and pushed around until he'd taken up boxing as a teenager. Now Tucker looked like he'd strolled out of the pages of Esquire and did the pushing around. The bathroom door opened and Tucker, wearing blue boxers with a pattern of tiny yachting pennants, said, "We're out of toothpaste." Elliot could smell the Arctic fresh from across the room. He said mildly, "Again? What the hell are you doing in there?" Tucker looked obligingly manic, and Elliot chuckled. Turning out the yellow ginger jar lamp next to the bed, Tucker climbed between the sheets. He muttered, "Do you ever wish—" He let it trail, not finishing the thought. Elliot eyed his silhouette. "What?"
"That it was a year from now, and everything that was going to happen had already happened."
Elliot thought that over. The statement sounded uncharacteristically pessimistic for Tucker. "What do you think is going to happen?" he asked finally. Tucker didn't answer, or at least not in words. He leaned over Elliot and kissed him. "It's going to be okay," Elliot told him. Maybe he didn't come right out and say the words, but he was still communicating reassurance in the best way he knew. He'd been thinking Tucker was probably too tired for more than a kiss and a cuddle, or maybe Elliot was too tired. But Tucker, as it turned out, was, in the words of lounge singers across the world, in the mood for love. The smell of damp, clean skin filled his nostrils, and the heat of Tucker's nakedness warmed him. Elliot's hands rested on Tucker's broad shoulders, smoothing knotted muscles, welcoming him, holding him close. The hair of Tucker's chest and underarms was scratchy soft against Elliot's bare skin.
"I love you,"
Tucker muttered. Elliot whispered back, "I love you." Tucker murmured approval, and their lips brushed, sharing quick, uneven breaths before Tucker's mouth moved on.